diplomatic news, Papua New Guinea Prime Minister has landed in Israel ahead of the coronation of the new embassy in Jerusalem.
Hallelujah! Papua New Guinea now has an embassy in Jerusalem, expressed by Rabbi Yehuda Glick, Jewish Orthodox rabbi, former Chief Executive Director of Temple Institute, and 2016 member of Knesset.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם הכל יצר נברא להם נשא וחפשו כל עשי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה ותתפארה.
The Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea, James Marape, arrived in Israel on Monday for an official visit during which he had participated in the opening of Papua New Guinea Embassy in Jerusalem. James Marape says opening the embassy in Jerusalem is a natural and meaningful step amid his deep connection to the Holy Land, and he and his wife observe the Shabbat. Diplomatic missions in Israel are foreign embassies and consulates in Israel. There are currently 93 embassies in Israel, of which 89 embassies are located in Tel Aviv and the Tel Aviv district, and 4 are located in Jerusalem. Israel and Papua New Guinea relations are bilit relations between New Guinea. Israel and Papua New Guinea established diplomatic relations in 1978, about 3 years after Papua New Guinea was granted independence. In September 10, 2010, Prime Minister Sir Michael Somare received an open invitation to visit Israel by his Israeli counterpart, Benjamin Netanyahu. And in 2008, Papua New Guinea reactivate its bilateral relations with Israel to benefit from the vast technological expertise available in that country, and for the first time, establish a permanent mission in Israel. On the September 7, 2010, Somare declared in the parliament that Papua New Guinea will establish an embassy in Jerusalem after Prime Minister Sir Michael Somare received an open invitation to visit Israel by his Israeli counterpart. Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's ambassador to Australia, acts as non-resident ambassador to Papua New Guinea. While Papua New Guinea does not have an embassy in Israel, it has a consulate in Ramat Ha-Sharon, with jurisdiction over the Tel Aviv metropolitan area. Since September 2007, appointed by Sir Michael Somare, Yaakov Weiss, who has been the Honorary Consul General of Papua New Guinea to Israel, and acts as the diplomatic representative of Papua New Guinea to Israel. Papua New Guinea is one of the Pacific nations that regularly vote with Israel at the United Nations. However, in 2018, it voted to condemn the US recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital, while 5 other Pacific nations rejected the condemnation. Papua New Guinea's move comes amid signs that Fiji is planning to open an embassy in Jerusalem as well. Earlier this month, Prime Minister Sitiveni Rabuka told Israel's ambassador Roy Rosenblatt, "My personal feeling is that Jerusalem should be the location of our new Fiji embassy."
More diplomatic news, Papua New Guinea Prime Minister has landed in Israel ahead of the coronation of the new embassy in Jerusalem, bringing with him an inspiring message. ILTV's Devo Klein has more.
The Papua New Guinea Prime Minister James Marape arrived in Israel on Monday for an official visit during which he will participate in the opening of his country's embassy in Jerusalem. Marape was welcomed by Intelligence Minister Gila Gamliel, who expressed her appreciation for his country's consistent support of Israel in the United Nations, as well as the risky decision to open an embassy in Jerusalem. The first country to take the initiative and open a Jerusalem embassy was the United States, when in May of 2018 inaugurated the very first Jerusalem embassy after departing from Tel Aviv under the Trump administration. Since the pioneered opening of the U.S. embassy, other countries have followed in their steps, with the first being Guatemala, followed by Honduras and Kosovo. This makes Papua New Guinea the fifth country in history to open their embassy in the eternal capital of Israel. The Pacific Islands Prime Minister has showcased immense support of Israel over the years, as he harbors a deep connection to the Holy Land and even observes the Sabbath with his wife. Additionally, Marape has highlighted to Papua New Guinea officials in the past the importance of a diplomatic relationship with Israel despite opposite opinions coming from neighboring countries. Geographically, Papua New Guinea's only land border exists with Muslim country Indonesia, a country that has no official diplomatic ties with Israel. Marape has said that he is prepared to take on any criticism from his neighboring countries, expressing that opening the embassy in Jerusalem.
Papua New Guinea opens Israel embassy in West Jerusalem. Pacific nation joins small club of countries with embassy in Jerusalem, the eastern half of which is occupied territory. Israel will fund the Papua New Guinea embassy for the first 2 years, according to media reports in the Pacific nation. Papua New Guinea has opened its embassy to Israel in West Jerusalem, becoming only the fifth country with a full diplomatic mission in a city whose status is one of the most sensitive issues in the Middle East. While Israel considers Jerusalem its indivisible capital and wants all embassies based there, most of the world does not recognize Israeli sovereignty over the entire city, believing its status should be resolved in negotiations. Citing God of Israel, Papua New Guinea becomes fifth nation to open Jerusalem embassy. Standing next to Prime Minister Netanyahu, country's leader James Marape says Christians can't fully respect God without recognizing Jewish state's capital. Papua New Guinea opened its embassy in Jerusalem on Tuesday at a ceremony attended by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his Papua New Guinean counterpart, James Marape. "Today is a milestone moment for my country, Papua New Guinea," Marape said. "We are here to give respect to the people of Israel, the Yahweh God of Isaac and Abraham," said Marape. "You have been the great custodian of the moral values that were passed for humanity," Marape said to Netanyahu. "Many nations choose not to open their embassies in Jerusalem, but we made the conscious choice. This has been the universal capital of the nation and people of Israel." Over 95% of Papua New Guineans are Christians, with Catholics forming the largest denomination. Marape also asked Israel to open an embassy in Port Moresby and offered to provide the land for the mission. "There are currently no plans to do so," the Foreign Ministry told the Times of Israel. The embassy is located in the Jerusalem Technology Park at the southern end of the city, where Guatemala and Honduras also have their embassies.
The State of Israel welcomes Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea, Mr. James Marape, and Madame Rachel Marape, the wife of the Prime Minister. We welcome you to Israel, and we discovered close and good friends of the State of Israel and of the people of Israel. And we welcome Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on behalf of the State of Israel, who will together inaugurate the embassy of Papua New Guinea in Jerusalem, the capital of the State of Israel. I invite both Prime Ministers to start the inauguration by unveiling the plaque of the embassy of Papua New Guinea in the State of Israel. Prime Ministers, please. Thank you very much. Undoubtedly a historic day for the State of Israel, for Papua New Guinea, and for the city of Jerusalem. We are also welcoming here Foreign Minister of the State of Israel, Eli Cohen, the Mayor of Jerusalem, the capital of Israel, Moshe Leon, Minister for International Trade of Papua New Guinea, and Minister of Finance and Planning of Papua New Guinea, who arrived here together with a very big delegation from this wonderful country, literally crossing the globe to come and to celebrate this auspicious day. We will hear now the national anthems of Papua New Guinea, followed by Hatikva, the national anthem of the State of Israel.
Oh, arise, all you sons of this land. Let us sing over joy to be free, praising God and rejoicing to be Papua New Guinea. Shout our name from the mountains to see Papua New Guinea. Let us raise our voices and proclaim Papua New Guinea. Now give thanks to the good Lord above, for his kindness, his wisdom and love, for this land of our fathers so free, Papua New Guinea. Shout again for the whole world to hear, Papua New Guinea. We are independent and we're free, Papua New Guinea.
Thank you. I would also like to point out that we have here with us the architects of the newly upgraded relations between Israel and Papua New Guinea. Ambassador Rui Rosenblit, Israeli ambassador to Papua New Guinea, Ambassador Rafi Arpaz, the director of Asia Pacific in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the Secretary General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Papua New Guinea, who's also here with us. And at this point, I would like to invite Prime Minister Marape to deliver his remarks. Prime Minister, please.
Thank you very much. Excellency, the Honorable Benjamin Netanyahu, to you and your lovely people of the nation of Israel, today is a milestone moment for my country, Papua New Guinea. We're here to give respect to the people of Israel to the fullest. We have been strong partner nations since our two nations established bilateral relationship in 1978. But today, 5th of September 2023, Mr. Prime Minister, entrances our relationship deeper and elevates our relationship higher. Papua New Guinea values Israel because of our shared heritage, acknowledging Creator God, the Yahweh God of Israel, the Yahweh God of Isaac and Abraham. We subscribe fully to the teachings of Bible. You have been the great custodian of the moral values that God passed for humanity. And in that acknowledgement to the fullest, we have decided consciously to walk the narrow path. Many nations choose not to open their embassies in Jerusalem, but we made the conscious choice. This has been the universal capital of the nation and people of Israel. For us to call ourselves Christian, paying respect to God, will not be complete without recognizing that Jerusalem is the universal capital of the people and nation of Israel. Mr. Prime Minister, I just want to say thank you for your kindness in reaching out to us, opening arms and your heart, and to embrace Papua New Guinea, the last frontier on planet Earth. We were amongst the last nations to be discovered by the outside world. We gained independence at 1975. 3 years on, we became shared partner nations in an established bilateral relationship. Today, as I said earlier, entrenches our relationship, but more importantly, elevates. Not just on the 12th floor. We exist here in this wonderful building that you so partnered us in setting up, but more importantly, elevates our relationship higher, better, bigger, so that our two people can coexist in this world, showing the light of Christianity, showing the light of the Judeo-Christian worldview, more importantly, that teaches loving others as you would love yourself, the teachings of our shared moral values. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for giving this place to be a Papua New Guinea sovereignty space. I look forward to you coming and joining us in Port Moresby. We likewise will give you a space in Papua New Guinea where the nation of Israel can set up your embassy there facing the greater Pacific and the greater Asia. I like to believe we're the first Pacific and Asian nation. Yeah. And so, please, Mr. Prime Minister, reciprocate my presence here with your presence in Papua New Guinea. I will reciprocate your goodwill by giving a space here. We will likewise give you a space in Papua New Guinea. May God bless the nation of Israel and the people of Israel. May God bless you too, sir. And may God bless Papua New Guinea and Israel relationship today and forevermore.
Thank you. Thank you. Prime Minister Netanyahu, I invite you to deliver your remarks.
Prime Minister Marape and Mrs. Marape and your distinguished delegation, our Foreign Minister, the Mayor of Jerusalem, and the diplomats who so diligently worked to achieve this day. I was very moved when I heard your anthem. I heard the words prayer and hope. Much of the origin of this prayer was in this city. And as you correctly said, it's been our capital for the last 3,000 years. This is where so much of our heritage emerged from. This is where our values were forged. This is where our prophets prophesied. This is where so many of the eternal values that we hold dear were created and disseminated to the people of Israel and from there to all humanity. So I think it's fitting that a state and a people so deeply committed to these values do what you just did. That is, open an embassy in Jerusalem, the first Asian Pacific country to do so. And we're very proud and very appreciative of that fact. Secondly, I want to say that this will not only enable us to cherish the past, but also to seize the future. I'm impressed by the great potential that you have and you are building in Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea is a big country with big opportunities. And I think that the fact that you have an embassy here will enable us to realize all these potentials in agriculture and in water and in technology and in health and enterprise. And I look forward to visiting your country. I hope I can do so at the date that you said. But I have to say that I've already now met your country in your presence here, your wife's presence here, and your countrymen who are here. We feel that we have a kinship, a real kinship. So I hope very much that we can see Israeli entrepreneurs and Israeli experts and Israeli tourists visiting Papua New Guinea. And one of those tourists, I hope in the near future, will be me.
The International Christian Embassy Jerusalem appointed the Schlatters as its representative to the South Pacific Islands in the 1980s, where they spread their teachings on Israel and brought thousands of pilgrims to Israel for the annual Feast of Tabernacles celebrations on the Sukkot holiday. The ICEJ is thrilled that our many decades of work in building Christian support for Israel in the South Pacific region is bearing good fruit through these recent decisions of Fiji and Papua New Guinea to open embassies in Jerusalem, said David Parsons, ICEJ spokesman. David Parsons said, "We hope and expect more Oceania nations to also ascend to Jerusalem soon." The government is being urged to establish an embassy in Israel and to give 10% of all resource earnings to Christian churches. Moro B. Governor Luther Wingay said the country needed an embassy in Israel's capital Jerusalem to really gain its place as a Christian country. "Don't just say we are a Christian country," Wenge said, "we must also put it in action. We must have an embassy in Jerusalem." He said, 10% of all resource earnings must be given to churches. 10% of what we get from extraction of minerals and resources we have must be given to God, not just preaching and talking. If we're not giving the 10% to churches, the 400-year-old King James Version Bible must be removed from Parliament because we are lying to God. Meanwhile, back in Israel, Marape also pledged support at the United Nations for Israel, whose leader, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, attended the embassy ceremony in a reprieve from stalled regional peacemaking and clouded ties with Washington. "For us to call ourselves Christian, paying respect to God will not be complete without recognizing that Jerusalem is the universal capital of the people and the nation of Israel," said James Marape.
Roll the drums, please. Papua New Guinea opened an embassy in Jerusalem this week, becoming the 5th country to open a Jerusalem embassy. This is what the Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea said during the inauguration ceremony.
Many nations choose not to open their embassies in Jerusalem, but we made the conscious choice. This has been the universal capital of the nation and people of Israel. For us to call ourselves Christian, paying respect to God, will not be complete without recognizing that Jerusalem is the universal capital of the people and nation of Israel.
Papua New Guinea joins the United States, Honduras, Guatemala, and Kosovo in having their embassies in our eternal capital, Jerusalem.
If you like what you saw on the channel, please like and subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to click on the bell icon to get new video updates. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe for more. May the Lord bless you and keep you.
أعبدك أنت فاتح الطريق صانع العجائب حافظ العهد نور في الظلمة ربي أنت ذا الإله فاتح الطريق صانع العجائب حافظ العهد نور في الظلمة ربي أنت أدون العالم
של מלאך בטרם כל יצר נברא להנדסה וחפשו כל עשי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל